Hello, everybody. Brandon and Lindsay.
Hello.
Share the Magic Travel. We are back from Walt Disney World.
Yep.
We did 7 nights over fall break, Columbus Day week. Turned out to be the busiest week since Walt Disney World reopened.
Yes.
So we've got a lot of requests for tips, a lot of requests for a review of the trip, what we thought, and so
That's what we're here to do.
here we are. We learned a lot, and we hope that ahead of Thanksgiving, ahead of Christmas, we can share kind of what the parks look like. Parks are operating at a 25% capacity right now, and Disney says they're not going to bump that anytime soon. So we hope that what we saw this past week will be very similar to what you might see Thanksgiving and Christmas. And we can share some things and kind of how to navigate what Disney World looks like. Now, we'll say it was busy.
Yeah, we always want you guys to go in knowing what to expect and having realistic expectations. And it's not the same as July where you say like empty streets, no waits.
Yeah.
Like feels more like a Disney park now.
I've seen some agencies and some people market this as lowest crowds ever, and that was true in July.
Right.
It is not true anymore.
No.
And you need to be prepared. So much of a Disney trip is expectations, managing what the day is going to look like.
Right.
And if you have the right expectations, you're going to have a blast.
Yeah, and part of that is knowing how to best use your time. So that's
Yes.
one of the things we're going to talk about.
And I will say before we get into this very far, it was one of my favorite Disney vacations we've ever taken.
Yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah, I felt like the magic was there.
Yes.
I felt like it felt like Disney World, wouldn't you
Yeah,
say?
we had jam-packed days full of stuff to do, fun.
We ate the most
Kids had
food
a
we've ever
blast.
eaten at Disney World.
Yes.
We saw more characters probably than we've ever seen at Disney World.
Yeah.
And so I will say, before we get into all because there are some negatives now, it was one of my favorite Disney vacations ever.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And that is with masks and 100-degree weather and fall break crowds and long lines, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And so if you have a Thanksgiving trip, a Christmas trip planned, don't let some horror stories and pictures of long waits scare you off.
Yeah.
We're going to get into kind of what the reality of the situation
Even
is.
horror mask stories, like, I don't buy it because we were there all week and
Masks are a non-issue.
they
We
really
have a
are.
3-year-old and a 6-year-old that did not say a word about masks.
No.
Our 3-year-old he put his mask on and wore it all day.
Yeah.
And most people are like that. I promise you'll forget you have it on. So don't let that be the reason you go. That to me was of all the reasons Disney is not as good as it once was, the masks are not even a top 5.
And I know, like you said for a while, like masks aren't a thing, but until you go, like I kind of anticipated like it would be uncomfortable, but it just wouldn't be enough to make it not worth going. But you really do. I think like it was so like humid that the first days, it's kind of like when you have a jacket on and the room gets warm, you're like, oh, I'll take this off. Like maybe 1 or 2 times I was like, oh, no, I have to leave it on. After that, I didn't think about it.
No.
Didn't
And
think
it doesn't
about
make it feel any hotter, but
one of the tips, though, that I would give you that I learned the hard way, we kind of spent more money on lots of different masks to try them out. I have an Under Armour one, all this. Got the $6 Halloween mask that's made with that new dry fit material. Was my favorite mask of the trip.
you can get those. You can't get them at Disney World. We didn't see many, but the Halloween
They
ones.
only have the Halloween ones in
They
the
are on
parks
Shop
right
Disney.
now. But I checked Shop Disney and they have just released a ton of new prints of those. You just want to check the description and make sure that it says new mask fit, new
material.
new breathable mask material.
Yeah, new
you want to
material.
make sure it says that.
So get those. Those are the best masks we saw the whole
yeah,
trip.
I got the snack ones coming in and I'm really excited.
And I
about
got
it.
a 4-pack of Mickey ones.
Yeah.
So let's get into the trip.
Okay.
We flew in from Memphis to Orlando. We had a layover, so we got a full flight experience.
Yes.
No different than COVID times.
You just
If
wear your
anything,
mask.
the weights for security and everything else were just lower.
Yeah.
You have to wear a mask on the plane.
I mean, they'll tell you they're not doing the drink service or whatever,
That's true.
but
But
they
flights,
also tell you ahead of time and tell you to grab a snack to bring it
Yeah.
in if you want something.
flights are a non-issue.
No.
Travel is back. Security is easy. Security is quicker than ever.
Yeah, that's true.
So don't worry about the flight. If you're, fly to Disney,
I'll put it this way. We were in the Orlando airport, which is usually packed, and still felt totally comfortable in eating before we went through security.
Yeah.
Usually we're
Security
like, we
was
got to
up.
get through security, then we'll eat.
Security was a 30-second wait.
Yeah.
Coming home. And Magical Express. Pretty much the same.
Yeah.
We waited 15, 20 minutes for a bus to Saratoga. We were with a couple who stayed at Pop Century. They waited 10 or 15 minutes, and we were on our way. So the only difference, you have to pick up your bags.
Yeah.
And carry them with you, which a lot of families already did. So before Disney would get your luggage, you put the little yellow luggage tag on. That is not a thing anymore.
Right.
You have to go to baggage claim, pick up your bags, and take them with you to the Magical Express. So that's a little more of a hassle for us
when
because,
you have little kids.
Well, and we get to the airport early, and we like to go straight to the park. So now you have to go to baggage claim, and it may cost you 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah,
but
we left them at Bell Services.
honestly, our bags were already on the carousel when we got there.
Yeah.
So it may have took 10 extra minutes to get them. Magical Express was easy. We stayed for the first time ever at Saratoga Springs Resort. And we may do a separate review of just the resort and the food and stuff, but we loved it.
Yeah, I think you can't oversell the convenience of being able to walk to Disney Springs. I've never been to Disney Springs more, probably in all of my trips combined.
It's true.
The shopping was great because the shopping in the parks is one of the negatives because it's not just I'll peruse a park while I decide which ride I want to get on. There's a line usually.
There's usually a line to get into the shop.
Just to get in.
And some of the smaller shops are closed.
Yeah, some of the smaller shops are closed, and then the bigger ones, everybody's in line. So it was really nice to be able to say, well, we'll just do that tonight. We'll walk over to, Disney Springs and shop at World of Disney or whatever.
Because it's a pain when you're at a different resort. Once you go all day to a park to get on another bus to Disney Springs and then get on another bus back. We were a 5-10 minute walk, and that was a nice walk from Saratoga
it was nice.
to Disney Springs.
Really pretty. And they're not able to hold your souvenirs for you till the end of the day or send them to your room right now, just COVID regulations. So that's even more of a perk of just being able to walk over, shop, and walk it back.
And there was always a line, or there wasn't always, but there was typically a line to get into World of Disney.
Goes like that.
We were in a line that was so long. Like some of our party didn't want to get in it because it would look like it was going to be an hour wait.
Yeah.
But we never stopped walking.
We just walked right in.
And that's a common thread throughout this video we're going to get into. But Saratoga Springs, again, we'll do another video. Highly recommend. So let's talk about transportation. That is probably the number one thing people want to know is how to get to the parks in COVID.
And I think it can make or break your trip. You kind of need to know what you're doing in that department.
So, number one tip. By far, if you don't hear anything else on this video, the number one tip, get to the parks an hour before they open.
Yes.
We got to, again, busiest week of the trip since they reopened. We got to Magic Kingdom an hour early, all 3 days, and we were able to do 4 or 5 rides with 0 wait.
And when he says before they open, that's before the park hours say
so if the park says
they are already open.
If the park says they're opening at 9 a.m., Disney does not want crowds to congregate at the gate. So they are opening the gates at 8 o'clock, 8:15. Now, sometimes they didn't start the rides until 30 minutes before park opening, but they let you get in line. And every Magic Kingdom day, we did Peter Pan, Haunted Mansion, Pirates, Small World.
And Jungle Cruise sometimes.
Jungle Cruise, no wait. I mean, absolutely 0 wait. But by 9 o'clock,
the crowd.
Every one of those rides I just listed were 45 minutes to an hour posted wait. Now, posted wait and real wait are different. We'll get into that in a second. But number one tip on every single park, if you're staying anywhere but Pop Century, get in line for a bus 1.5 hours before park opening. So, Magic Kingdom opened at 9.
7:30.
We walked to the bus stop at 7:30. We typically were on the first bus out every morning. We were in the Magic Kingdom 8:05, and we got 5 rides done the first hour before the park opened.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, we've done 3 rides and the park hasn't even opened yet.
Yeah.
Same thing with Epcot. We got there, we did Soar, and we did Living with the Land. Park hadn't even opened yet. Animal Kingdom, got there, did Safari before park opened. Hollywood Studios, you did Slinky Dog Dash before the park opened.
Yeah.
Now, if you're at Pop Century, which most of you will be, that's the biggest resort. 2 of our party stayed at Pop Century. Tyler and Marion Crosswhite. They stayed there. They recommend getting there about 2 hours before.
Yeah.
So many people, but they were in some of the longest bus lines ever.
Yeah.
And they waited 30 to 40 minutes at most.
And, we have said that, but I think it's different when you see it for yourself because, we had talked to Tyler about that, but then when he saw it, he's like, there's no way this isn't a 2-hour line. When you see it in person, you're going to
freak out.
This is not good.
There's nothing we can tell you right now.
For a little bit, you will think it's not good because until the buses start running, you're going to feel like you're sitting in a long line that's not moving because it's not. The buses aren't moving.
They bring
But as soon as they bring those buses, it's a nonstop. And what'd he say? Maybe 30 to 40 minutes once the buses started running.
And these bus lines are wrapping all around the whole resort.
Yeah.
You would, and so you're going to feel the same thing in the parks.
Yeah.
But that's our tip. Get to the park as early as, and include if you're driving, get to the park an hour before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, you're going to get 2 hours worth of rides done before the park even opens.
Yeah.
If you don't do that.
We felt like we'd had a good day in the first hour every day.
Yeah. And
like it felt like whatever happened after that was just going to be like
her
added.
Her brother Luke heard someone at 9 o'clock saying, what a disaster. Every line's already 45 minutes at like 9:30. And he told her, it's funny you say that. We've already done Peter Pan Pirates, Haunted Mansion, Splash Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain, and it's not even 9 o'clock yet. So I'm telling you, if you want your money's worth, wake up
and get there
and
early.
get to the parks. Okay. Now, let's talk about what the wait times are in the parks.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Magic Kingdom in particular.
Okay.
Haunted Mansion, for example. That line on a busy day has been going all the way back to the Liberty Bell riverboat. So if you're familiar,
Like wraps
Haunted,
around that
it goes
whole
all the way and wraps all the way. It uses the whole Liberty Bell riverboat
Like
queue.
the ramps, yeah.
It goes down, back, down. I mean, it looks like a 4-hour wait.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been to Disney,
You can't imagine seeing a Haunted
You would
Mansion
never-
line back there.
get in line.
Yeah.
If the line is at the Liberty Bell, which is where it was the whole week,
Mm-hmm.
it's 20 minutes, 25 minutes. It never stops moving. Same thing can be said for Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. And these are just examples. They're all like this. Buzz Lightyear actually used the entire Monsters Incorporated laugh floor.
Yes.
It used the entire queue. It went inside of that
And then right back out.
and came back out and did it again and then went to Carousel of Progress
Yeah,
and
it
wrapped
looked like
3 or
you'd be
4
there all
times.
day.
It looked like a 4-hour wait.
Yeah.
20 minutes. I mean, honestly, 20 minutes. Number 1 tip, I guess number 2 tip, get in line.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
If you sit there and look at it like, oh my goodness, I can't, I'm not waiting in this line, you'll never ride anything. I'm telling you, you just get in line. Same thing for Pirates. Pirates goes all the way back to Jungle Cruise.
Yeah.
We waited 30 minutes. And Disney's posting 65 minutes,
Yeah.
70 minutes. Wait for I mean, what was the longest we waited at Magic Kingdom? 40 minutes?
For Space Mountain, I probably waited an hour.
Space
and that
Mountain.
is one thing I will say. On the big ticket roller coasters, you're going to wait a little closer to the wait time.
Because they're only operating at 50%
Yes.
capacity and it's a little smaller
So
vehicles.
we're talking Frozen, Space Mountain,
Frozen?
maybe not Frozen. Yeah, Frozen. We waited. The
Yeah, we
full
did.
wait
We
time.
did. We did.
And maybe Everest or Flight of Passage. Those are going to be closer to the real
They are.
wait time, to the listed wait time.
But those Omni Mover rides where the ride is constantly
They're
moving.
going to be half the wait.
Yeah, Haunted Mansion, Peter Pan, Small World even.
Which is why that piece of information of getting there early is so important for those big ticket rides that you want to hit
Yeah.
up first. Do those first before the big waits hit.
I would say so. Yeah. But get in line.
Get in
like,
Even at Frozen when we waited an hour. So what else were we going to do?
Yeah.
We did Living with the Land in 20 minutes. The next day we did we did Soarin' before the park even opened. So it's fine to wait for like your big ticket ride for an hour.
Yeah.
Because you're in the park.
Yeah.
Do
And
snacks after. Do the shorter waits
the
after.
lines always move. We talked about that before we got there on the podcast. There is some psychology to lines always moving.
Yeah.
And they absolutely never stop. Now, they will pause for cleaning.
That's one thing. If you're at a standstill, like
If-
don't be
if-
frustrated.
If the line stopped, it's because they're cleaning it.
Yeah.
And that's 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Max.
We got to the very front. That's when the cleaning. We got to the very front of Haunted Mansion and caught the cleaning.
We were the last
which is
party.
like, but we did get to watch them cleaning, which was pretty interesting.
do a good
wipe
job.
down every rail. They wipe down
And
the
they
chains.
run it through.
They use these like weed killer looking things to spray down the seats as they roll
Yep.
by. So that's encouraging to know.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just we're cleaning so that you
Yeah.
feel safe. They're really cleaning during that time.
Yeah, so that's true at Magic Kingdom especially. I mean, all the parks, honestly. Just get in line. Wait. If you want to ride it, ride it. There's never a better time than the time you're at it. Because the parks close so early, you don't see a huge rush of people leaving. I mean, Magic Kingdom closed at 6.
Yeah.
People aren't going back to the resort at 6.
Yeah.
And so the lines never really went down like you normally see in a regular day. I'm gonna wait till the end of the day to.
Yeah.
Don't do that. They're going to be high.
The one exception to that was the day that Magic Kingdom stayed up until 8. And we did get to have that like awesome hour where everybody was like, we're just going to leave. And we did get on like space super fast. So that's good. But if you're looking at the shorter days in the parks.
Like Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
We never saw Flight of Passage go down.
Right.
In fact, our goal was to get on Flight of Passage at the very, very end of the day. Still an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So we didn't ride Flight of Passage. We could have.
We could have done it first instead.
Or last.
Yeah.
We chose to not go back.
We chose to do some stuff.
Because, I mean, we just did it in March.
Yeah.
But we could have definitely had ridden it.
To kind of tie in with what we were just talking about with getting there early, we emphasized a lot on the podcast that this is a trip where you just want to be flexible and spontaneous because you don't have fast passes, but there's an exception to that. So what Brandon was telling me earlier is I think it's important to have a start of the day plan for that hour with low weights, because you don't want to get in there in that 1 hour you have free and kind of wonder what you want to do. So we would recommend having like 4 or 5 rides that you want to hit up that you can fit into that hour. Have that plan, know exactly where you want to go so that you get the most out of that early hour, and then the rest of the day be more flexible and just kind of go with the flow with what's open with the shorter wait times and all that kind of stuff.
For us, our plan was always Peter Pan first. Haunted Mansion, Pirates, and then Small World or Winnie the Pooh or Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, or even Jungle Cruise.
Peter Pan, Haunted Mansion, Pirates was the play. And those are 3 rides that got longer waits throughout the day that literally we walked on. Like, we never stopped moving.
And one day we even did all of those in the first hour, and then as that hour was ending, went straight to Splash Mountain.
In 40 minutes.
And it was listed as like I think a 70-minute wait, and it was 40 minutes.
Yeah, and I took the
so
kids
we
somewhere.
still got to fit a lot in that first hour, and still got a shortened wait time for Splash.
I mean,
which Splash is going to be a long wait most of the day.
If you're just adults or you really wanted to do Splash, I would start with Splash.
Yeah.
But
we just liked fitting in some of the kids' rides.
Honestly, Splash is my favorite ride. I prefer to do 4 or 5 dark rides instead of Splash.
Yeah, because you can still get in that line for Splash and already have accomplished a lot and be ready for the break.
Yeah.
To just wait in line for a little bit.
So get there early, get in line. That's include all parks. I will say for Hollywood Studios, and I don't want to spend too much time on this. Again, we're going to do a podcast that's way more detailed. Hollywood Studios is very frustrating. Yeah. It opens at 10. You want to get that boarding group for Rise of Resistance. If you're at Pop Century, you can't ride the Skyliner to get to Hollywood in time because you have to stop at Caribbean Beach, and there's already a super long line.
You're going to have to get at the end of the line of all those people that got there early at Caribbean Beach.
So what our party did was mobile order for Boardwalk Bakery, take an Uber from Pop Century to Boardwalk, and then walk the 10-minute walk from Boardwalk to Hollywood. Yeah. But honestly, that's a pain.
Just Uber. They said the walk was longer than they figured in that heat.
I won't even say that. Get there at noon.
Okay.
So we got there at 10. We did not get a boarding group at 10 o'clock for Rise of the Resistance, and we did everything right. Lines were 2 hours long. We got out of Hollywood.
It was frustrating.
We got on the Skyliner, and we went to Riviera. Yeah. And we ate that incredible croque monsieur at Primo Piatti with a quick service place at the Riviera Resort. And we regrouped, and we
kind of felt refreshed.
We went back over to Hollywood and ate it and did drinks at Oga's Cantina, which
we'll talk about later, but
cannot recommend enough.
Highly recommend.
And we got the 2 o'clock boarding group for Rise of Resistance. And honestly, once that 2 o'clock group is distributed, people do leave that park. Yeah. Waits went down considerably.
I got to ride Tower of Terror twice after that with a 20-minute wait each time.
I rode Runaway Railway with the boys twice. The second time we only waited 30 minutes. We rode Star Tours, pretty much a walk-on. Yep. We rode Toy Story Mania as a walk-on 2 or 3 times. Alien Swirling Saucers was a walk-on. Like, Hollywood was a fun park. But that first 2 hours was a disaster.
And if you want to try, you know, it's going to increase your odds if you tried both drop times for rice. So if you want to get in there and try for both, we would still recommend being willing to be flexible and skyline somewhere else.
Yeah. For us, it wasn't...
For that window of time that is going to be kind of crowded.
We go enough. The Rise of Resistance wasn't make or break. Like, it's one of the best rides in the history of the world. And I wanted to do it so much. But it wasn't make or break for our trip.
Right.
So if it's not make or break, just get there at 2 o'clock for the 2 o'clock drop.
Right. But we did have 2 people that had never done it. So we did want to try both of those times.
We prioritized Rise of Resistance. Yes. And so get there at 10, but if you don't get it,
be willing to get out.
If you don't get it, be willing to get out and know that you can get it at 2 o'clock.
Yes.
We did. We got it for 8 people at 2 o'clock.
Yeah. And honestly, if you don't get it, I wouldn't let it ruin your trip.
No.
Like, there's going to be a time that comes when you can get it. There's still a lot to do in that park.
Absolutely. Runaway Railway is so fun.
Mm-hmm.
And 50, 60-minute wait all day.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad wait.
No, it's not. Even just walking around that, you know, Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
It's an easy way to kill that time.
Mobile ordering.
Yeah. We highly recommend you know what you're doing on the app before
you have to mobile order at quick service restaurants. And I'll tell you this. It is so easy. And it makes dining so much easier.
Yes.
It makes not having to wait in line and having to scramble for a table. Tables were always available. And the food's ready for you. You walk in and pick it up versus waiting in those lines.
Yeah. It beats waiting in a line when you don't know when you're going to get in times 1,000. And the thing is, there's still going to be the peak times during lunch and stuff where it would be as if the line were out the door because the app's going to tell you
had to wait.
Your comeback time isn't for like 45 minutes or an hour. But I would hands down prefer the app to tell me you're not going to get in until now, so go do something else as opposed to staying in the line the whole time.
We had to wait for 40 minutes or so for Cosmic Rays.
Yeah.
Right at lunchtime.
Yeah.
So I would try to eat maybe before lunch or after lunch, but you have to mobile order for any quick service location. Now that does not include snack stands. People have asked that, like food and wine, like ice cream bars,
like the little snack stand at Animal Kingdom with the spooky apple punch and stuff. That's just walk up and
apple punch. We're gonna do a snack review. We're gonna do a snack review later, not in this video. This is a general overview that's already 23 minutes long. But no, it needs to be long because you guys need all the tips.
Yes.
Yeah,
we recommend snacking. Snack at meal times if you're hungry. Like at lunch, grab a snack because we're going to tell you there are plenty of good snacks to choose from. And let that hold you over until one of the down times of the restaurants and then get
I thought we did a better job this trip of not overeating.
Yeah, we split everything. And that is a good tip. We would split lunch and then we would split a snack. And then we'd have room for like our sit down.
That's part of the reason, you know, if you've listened to any of our videos and podcasts, we always complain about never really getting around to getting snacks.
Yeah.
I think it's because we were overeating in meals and we're just never hungry.
It didn't sound good.
But
Let me just tell you, like, everybody keeps saying, how much did y'all eat? And I was like, everything was split.
Yeah.
And with what we walked, we lost weight.
We actually lost weight. That's a good diet.
There's your Disney tip. Split meals and lose weight.
I think splitting meals, and then snacking is also a good mask break.
It is.
That you're able to sit down, take your mask
Especially
off.
with kids, it's good to sit down in the heat of the day with a snack and a drink and take a break.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
I think we kind of covered everything that
I think we did. And like I said, please listen to the podcast.
I will say we touched on know how to use the app for mobile ordering, but also know how to use the app just to check wait times throughout the park.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Because that's going to help you. You are flexible, but you still need to know where you want to go, and that will help you kind of plan it throughout the day.
Know that wait times are likely overstated.
Yes.
About 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah. Like you said, especially in the Omni-Mover rides.
Especially Magic Kingdom with the rides at constant, like Little Mermaid was posted an hour. We waited 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Buzz Lightyear posted an hour. But Winnie the Pooh is another good kind of anecdote where that line went all the way almost to the castle.
Yeah. It
came out of Winnie the Pooh, if you're familiar at all. It goes all the way past Cheshire Cat Cafe, like up towards Tomorrowland. 15, 20-minute wait. It looked like on a normal day, that'd be 3 hours. So you're going to be out in the middle of the pathway thinking you're about to wait in a 2-hour line. I promise it's 20 or 30 minutes. Magic Kingdom, Small World. Small World came out of the building, wrapped almost a haunted all the way to Haunted Mansion.
It was crazy.
25 minutes.
Yeah.
So get in line. Don't listen to the scare tactics.
No.
There are so many pictures on Facebook going around of people in line of the lines.
Yeah, and I want to say this about the mask. I've seen some stories posted where it's like, oh, I got yelled at. They were so rude to me. Honestly, I was scared. I don't like to get in trouble. I feel humiliated, like physically pained. And I was so scared that like my mask was going to drop down below my nose and somebody was going to say something to me and I would be mortified. No.
We never got one thing said to us.
If there are going to be people there that are refusing to put their mask on and someone's going to say something to them.
And we saw that.
Someone will say we will get security. Rightfully so. It's the rules of the park. It's to respect everybody there.
Heck, it's why they're open.
If you are trying, the chances that anyone says anything to you are slim. And if they do, it's a gentle reminder. You do it, nothing else happens.
Trust me, that's a good thing to have.
And for kids, like, they're not lenient in the fact that you can just not wear the mask, but they're not harping on them. Your mask is down. Like,
There were several times our kids had suckers or drinks in the stroller, and we were pushing it through the park, and they had their mask down, and no one said anything. Now, that's not technically a part of the rules, but they understand. Like, it's hot, it's 100 degrees, and they're kids. So,
I wouldn't go with the fear that you're going to be humiliated if you slip up once or something.
100%.
I just think that that's not accurate.
No.
I can say with 100% certainty it was not accurate
it didn't happen
our
to us.
experience.
No, we never.
And
never.
Anything I saw around us.
We never got in trouble for wearing masks, and some of our.
Yeah, this happened.
Her brother Luke, shout out to Luke Knox, Share the Magic Travel, walked all the way from Adventureland. We got
Sunshine
a citrus
Terrace,
swirl. all the way to Tomorrowland. And we looked over at him and was like, oh, so you're not going to wear a mask, huh?
He left his mask at the snack stand, didn't even realize, because you don't realize
we
anymore if it's on or off.
At Buzz Lightyear, and not one person said anything. Now,
of course, he immediately scrambled to find a mask.
Put a disposable mask on. But
typically, they would have said something to him, but that just goes to show they're not trying to scold and humiliate. They're literally only there to keep people safe.
Yes.
It is not a scary or harsh environment.
No. So
I mean, I literally maybe heard put your mask above your nose, princess, a handful of times, and it was very nice every time.
Yeah, I mean,
unless someone was unwilling to comply, which at that point they should.
It's typical Disney. They handle everything well, and that's no exception. So this was kind of rushed, even though it was 30 minutes.
We'll do a podcast with more information.
So I was going to say, we'll have more videos. We're going to review new dining we did, Beaches and Cream, Liberty Tree Tavern.
Good new dining.
Via Napoli, of course.
Of course.
Homecoming. We tried
so many snacks.
90% of the Halloween snacks we tried and loved. We're going to review all of those. Yeah. But this is strictly a COVID tips, and just to
general
rehash, it was one of our favorite trips of all time, and it was during a global pandemic.
With crowds.
It was 110 degrees, and it was the busiest week of the year so far.
Yeah.
And really, the parks were almost at full capacity. So what we saw, again, should be the worst thing you'll see the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And most weeks shouldn't be as busy. They already are not this week.
Yes.
Crowds are significantly down this week. So if you're going Thanksgiving and Christmas, this should really apply to you. If you're going any other week, you should have a better experience than we had. So hope this helps. Again, we're going to have tons of podcasts, tons of reviews, but this is just our first kind of go at an overall trip report.
Yes.
So stay at Saratoga Springs and go to Disney World.
That Saratoga Springs bus situation we'll touch on later, but that's enough reason to stay there.
It is on point. So anyway, hope this helped. We'll be back with lots more content. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
See you real soon.